Thanks, Bertie, and that is our news for Saturday. Let's go straight to Andrew Lofthouse at the tally room for Queensland Decides.
Thanks, Eva. Welcome back to the tally room where the counting has just begun and we have some very early counting starting to come in. So we're now able to have a look at some of these seats and track through, and we'll start in Ipswich West. Spencer, what are we seeing here?
Well, we're seeing the LNP way out there on 54, but have a look at Katter's Australian Party. That's doing very well in there. Labor's slumped dreadfully, and I think the Australian Party's harming greatly the Labor vote out there. They've gone to them.
These are very early.
Very early figures, yes, very early figures. But clearly, what it indicates is that the Katter Party will do well in areas like Ipswich West. Whether it in fact wins a seat's doubtful, but it will have an influence on the result.
All right, let's move to the north of the state and have a look at Mulgrave.
Whoa!
Oh, that's right. For Curtis Pitt, that's a dreadful result there. Katter's Australian Party finishing the Labor vote off well and truly in Mulgrave.
Curtis Pitt was telling me today, or telling one of my people today, that he remained reasonably confident. Now, they're very early figures, but what you'll see in a number of those North Queensland seats like Mulgrave is the LNP and the Katter Party will obviously be neck and neck in some places, because the Katter Party, that's where they will do well. Now, the Labor Party vote, if this continues, is very poor, which means it'll lose those seats. So let's just hope it picks up when different booths come in.
As we say, but let's have a look at Dalrymple, just moving down the coast a little ways.
You're doing holding up well there with Shane, Bob.
Yeah.
Although the LNP's mastered a pretty good campaign in there as well.
But based on that, if that held up, then he would retain his seat, and the Katter Party would have a seat in the Parliament. Well, retain him. He's currently in the Katter Party, of course.
And that would be the expectation of the LNP, that you would pick up, that Bob Katter's party would pick up Dalrymple.
I mean, look, Shane Canute has been a good member of Parliament, and we were very, very disappointed when he left our party. But we have an excellent candidate there in Liz Smith. And I would like to see some bigger booths come in, because we often get these anomalies at these early stages
Small
when
booths,
you have
small
booths which tend to distort what's really going to happen later on.
All right,
well, Lawrence is right.
Back to the southeast, and a seat on the south side of Brisbane, which takes in the Logan kind of region, the seat of Algester, which really, I mean, it seems as though we're talking about no such thing as a safe seat tonight, but that would be one of them, Peter Beattie.
Well, it would be, and Karen Struthers is a very good local member and has been a good minister. That's still too early. We're talking about 13 votes in 24. I don't think you can project anything on that. Again, you often will get small booths which don't give an indication, but she will dig in. That'll be tough based on the overall swing we're seeing out of the exit poll, but frankly, she's a good local member, so let's see what happens. Let's have a look at Brisbane Central. Well, that's early indications. Lawrence's figures are a little more later than that. But frankly, Grace is a very good local member, and I know her well. She's campaigned very, very hard. I'd want to see more figures before I made up my mind.
Absolutely.
And you certainly want that trend to turn around, though.
I would want that trend to turn around, but if anyone can turn that trend around, Grace can.
Would it make a difference for these local members, and I'll get happy to get comments from the panel generally here, but Peter, starting with you, if they were able to get a little more air through the campaign?
Touch and go too at the moment.
Let's have a look. We can take a look at some more seats now, and we might start with South Brisbane, seeing as that's the one we're just talking about.
Well, on those early figures, Anna Blythe's not doing very well, is she? 188 compared with the LNP's vote of 218. It's very early, but it's not a great start for the Premier.
She'd rely on Green preferences, but win on them.
Yeah, but the real question is not whether Campbell will win Ashgrove, it's whether she'll win South Brisbane. Let the truth out.
Well, I think she'll win on those. Just depends on what the figures are. They're very, very early. She'd need Green preferences, but on those figures, she'd win.
All right, some interesting early figures in for Stafford as well.
Let's move. We can move on and have a look at that, Lawrence. Here's some early figures from Stafford on the north side of Brisbane.
Well, again, very early, but the LNP is well ahead, 64 to 248. 55.1% of the primary vote to the LNP. The Labor down at 33%, Greens on 8.6%, and Katter Australia Party 3.3%.
And that's a seat that's been sandbagged very much by the Labor Party, and a lot of union support in there, with the union standing as the third party to actually support the Labor Party. So a significant swing, and I do think that this is a matter of trust. And once you sever that umbilical connection with your traditional constituency, it takes a while to get them back. They will express their discontent, and that's what they're doing tonight. They've been very angry since privatisation, and they have to pass their message. But there's also some interesting results there as well in Toowoomba North. Now that's a seat as well, which, talking about Kerry Shine.
Lawrence, we'll come to that, but I want to have a look at Stretton as well while we're in this part of the state.
Well, again, there the LNP has got more than twice the vote of the Labor Party, well, 3 times. Labor down at 96, LNP 268. So Duncan Pegg is not doing very well there. 54.5% of the vote going to the LNP. Well, early days, but that's a big vote.
Of course, the independent there was a former Labor member. Hello.
OK, we've got phones ringing on the desk as some hot information comes in, and we'll be picking up on that. But we can go up to another part of Queensland outside the southeast, which is really a paradise usually, the Whitsundays, but not tonight, it seems.
Look, I don't think the party ever seriously thought that we would hold that seat. That's been a marginal seat forever, and I don't think the Labor Party expected to do that. Good local member, but I don't expect it. By the way, the figures on South Brisbane before were only pre-poll figures. OK.
It is a paradise Whitsunday, I'd say, and it's a great result. Fantastic.
Yeah, but you would say that, Clark. You would say
so it's still a paradise. A paradise doesn't go away.
Oh, that's true. It is a paradise. We all love it. It's a beautiful part of the world.
There's also another
people are so bright up there. They're intelligent.
I wouldn't be riding off Amanda Cam too early.
You'd be happy with that.
Just get a bit carried away with you.
Darren, thanks so much. Well, let's go to a seat where it would appear that the counting is giving quite a clear message even this early on. It is the seat of Burnett. And let's take a look at what we're seeing already. Spencer.
Good result.
Robbie Messenger.
Couldn't agree more.
That's a great result.
Independent. He's gone on for all money there.
I'm going to say that is a great result for Queensland. I congratulate the LNP candidate.
And Lawrence might be able to fill us in, but I understand you did some research here, and that's why Campbell Newman ended up going up to Bundaberg earlier this week, because it was in play, and what a good decision it seems to have been.
Well, I understand that is right, Madonna, but the reality is that Rob Messenger's got the energy of 10 men, but it's completely misplaced. He sees a conspiracy under every rock, and he scored 100 on debut with Dr. Patel, and he thinks there's one everywhere. And people really got sick and tired of him just going there, undermining everything in his community. And I think what we're seeing on those early results is a reflection of that view.
That everybody's been talking about. We've got some more figures in on Ashgrove. So, Laurie, we'll have a look here at what the count is telling us now.
Well, Campbell Newman's well ahead there, isn't he? 286, Kate Jones 194, and the Greens 51. On that basis, if that continued, of course, Campbell Newman is home and hosed, and I suspect it will continue.
Spencer, that's...
yeah, basically she's a lot closer than a lot of other seats we've seen, and she'll probably finish up about 10% behind him on the primary, but he will win on the primary vote, no doubt.
He'll win it, but she's been a fantastic candidate, and I would just hope that Kate Jones continues her commitment. We need good local members. Forget about whether people are Labor, Liberal or Katter Party. We all need good members of Parliament on both sides, and she is a great local member of Parliament, and I hope she goes the distance.
Let's keep rolling on, because we can have a look now at the seat of Ipswich West. Again, this would have been one of those in the overall Peter Beattie that would have had some red on it, but let's see what the picture is tonight.
Well, that's not a good indication. Wayne Went's a nice man. He was in the Parliament. He was one of my team. He's a very decent person, but if that trend continues, you've got the LNP on 43, Labor's only on 29, the Katter Party people...
you'd say that Wayne Went.
Sadly. Well, I like him, so I don't have any joy. But he frankly, Laurie, on those figures, he won't win. Bob, what are your preferences doing in that seat?
We didn't delineate where the preferences were.
But they're likely to go to the LNP ahead of us.
I mean, if it was a Labor seat, you would think some of them that have switched over to us would go back to Labor. Necessarily so. I mean, there's such anger and rage against the Labor Party. I'm not so sure that a person that shifted to us would necessarily go back to Labor.
They never thought for a moment that Tim Mulheron would be in such dire straits as that poll shows he's in.
Yes.
Well, I just wonder if they're going to have any men left standing at the end of tonight, or is it going to be just a few
What's significant, it's not just 1 or 2 seats, it's across the state.
It is.
The people of Queensland are fed up with the Labor Party, and when the next federal election comes, they'll get rid of the Prime Minister. Where was Julia Gillard in the campaign? Why wasn't she here?
This seat has been held by the Labor Party since the start of World War I.
That's right.
No, it's been always held by the Labor Party.
It's a federation.
It's never been held by the LNP. I mean, there's been previous manifestations of parties, but the Labor Party have held it straight since 1950.
I think we shouldn't get too excited.
Let's just see what happens.
Let's see the rest of the figures before we get too excited.
All right, and next we're going to have a look at Nanango.
This is interesting.
It's very interesting. The Katter Party has got Test cricketer Carl Rackerman, but the LNP's candidate Deb Frecklington is ahead on 862 votes. Well, 43% of the vote.
What's the independent doing there?
Only early days with there, but Deb Frecklington is considered one of those talents who could walk into the ministry as a first time MP as well.
Lawrence, Carl Rackerman did sound a bit pessimistic before.
What's the independent doing there? Because that will determine whether she wins or not.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure, Peter. But the reality is, regardless of how you direct preferences, probably half of those people or more don't, and so you start losing them in significant numbers. But she is an excellent candidate.
And here's Ipswich, and the sitting member Rachel Nolan.
Can I just add on that, Andrew?
Whoa.
Let's just have a look at Ipswich.
Well, it's a dead heat between the LNP and the Labor Party at the moment, but that's a very bad result for Labor in that seat. And that, I think, reflects the privatisation issue, doesn't it?
It does, Laurie.
We keep talking about privatisation, but we've also got to throw in there the removal of the petrol subsidy.
Exactly.
Because they all came at the same time.
Exactly.
Now, in battlers' suburbs like that, taking 8% a litre off a subsidy really hit home.
Well, and also I think the performance of local MPs, and I think it is fair to say, Peter Beattie, that Rachel Nolan is one of those Labor MPs who could have performed better in her local area.
And she's the finance minister. She was responsible for privatisation and hit the railway workshops and that electorate.
Absolutely.
That's a 16.7% swing.
I was going to say that. 16.7.
Yeah, 16.7.
That would be regarded as a blue ribbon.
Because this is one where there is a declaration already.
Robbie Katter, the son of, has got 709 votes. Labor 495. Mick Patel for the LNP 378. Pretty clear margin for Robbie Katter. 43.9% of the vote. What do you reckon?
Proud?
What do you reckon, Bob? Is he there?
Probably a better vote than his father got.
Now, that'd be pretty hard. Don't be too modest, Bob.
Yeah, I thought for a minute you were going to be lost for words, Bob, which never happens.
Well, I think they're the two seats that we probably objectively thought that the Australia Party would actually get.
Bob, congratulations on your son getting elected. I'm sad to see Betty Kinnan go, but congratulations. You should be very proud. Yeah, well done.
Is that a little tear in your eye, Bob Katter?
No, Betty did some good things.
And she's a good
we never
person.
attacked Betty at any time.